Hello, hello, hello. This is Aoife and this is the Happy Weight podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. It's just me today, so I am going to rabbit on at you, hopefully in an entertaining, light, fun way. But I really want to help you out if you're struggling with your weight and eating. I know how annoying all of that is. Like, I don't know, do you know my story? It's probably maybe has some similarities to your own. But I started dieting when I was around 10 or 11. I grew up in a household where we were all afraid of fatness. We kind of thought it was in us. It's in our genes. It was inevitable. I remember there being kind of chit chats about like other people getting to eat nice things, but we have to be more careful. And, you know, so it always felt like fatness was looming around the corner, which of course isn't a very nice way to feel, and of course makes you super strange when it comes to eating and food then, and makes you kind of fearful of what you're eating. So inevitably I started dieting and learning Weight Watchers points and all of that. To cut a long story short, all of that dieting did was cause me to develop binge eating disorder and put on 18 kilos, 3 stone of weight, and develop bulimia as well. And the bulimia actually caused me to gain even more weight. You know, it's actually very similar to binge eating. I don't think people realize that. And you know what else it's similar to? It's very similar to saying that on Monday I'm going to be good, because what you're doing is you're not having accountability for what you're eating now. You're not having accountability for the fact that your poor little tummy is saying, I'm really full, will you stop eating? And instead we're disregarding that and we're saying we'll fix it later by dieting, by getting sick, by being good on Monday. So, wow, okay, heavy start. That was a heavy start. I admit that was a heavy start. So, I'm going to go lighter now. So, thanks again so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the episode so far. By the way, I have a lot of other content. If you just know the podcast, I'd like to let you know as well that I have a YouTube channel. I'm also on TikTok, which is wildly addictive. I'm paying the price of being on TikTok. I'll tell you that. My sleep has certainly suffered. Instagram, and my website is happyweight.ie. And if you'd love to kind of re-educate yourself, I have online programs. I have 2 programs at the moment, the Love Food program and the Happy Hypno Weight. Literally off a call with a client who has the Happy Hypno Weight, and she is loving it, because that is hypnosis recordings you listen to before bed, and you just start slowly but surely changing the way you look at your own body, at food, and at your weight journey. So yes, check them out whenever you get a chance. So today I'd like to talk about some topics I'm really vibing off at the moment. I think sometimes I have doctor clients who say that all their patients come in, on the same week with the same things. And I feel the same with my clients, actually. There always seems to be some trend that people are going through on any given week. And last week or 2 weeks ago, it definitely was sheer anxiety. And now this is something that I don't know, I don't think I knew anyway, but there is an extremely fine line between thinking that you're health conscious and that you're kind of really interested in losing weight. There's a fine line between that and actually having anxiety, because, anxiety is kind of when we're kind of turning into nut jobs and we're thinking about our weight and food all the time, all the time. And if you think about that, there's nothing health conscious about that. Your body is not benefiting in any way. It's not drinking a pint of water or having green tea or going for a cycle or something like that. It's just being up in your head. Your body doesn't benefit one iota. So, in actual fact, unfortunately, it can kind of make things worse. The first way it can make things worse is that if we're just all up in our head in anxiety, worry, pressure to lose weight, thinking, what am I going to weigh tomorrow? What am I going to weigh in a week's time? How am I going to do this? How am I going to let go of the weight? What plan will I do next? And thinking back on where we made mistakes over the weekend and what we overate last week and all of that. Like I said, none of that is helping your body at all. What it is doing is potentially harming it. So when we're getting ourselves in a stressful state, we are releasing more cortisol generally, and cortisol is a hormone that can increase our fat storage, and it especially increases our fat storage on our stomach. So like, it's just part of that vicious cycle with weight, that the more you want to lose weight, actually the less likely it is that you will. So just with that stress and anxiety and pressure we put on ourselves, not only will it increase our cortisol and potentially how our body stores fat on our stomach, it will also increase our need for fat and sugar. So that's proven in studies that when people feel more stress, and no surprises here, I'm sure you've experienced this, I've experienced this, when we're going through stress, we naturally crave more fat and sugar. So by us stressing ourselves out about what our weight is today, or what our body is like today, or what we'll weigh by the end of the week or the end of the month, there is literally no benefit in doing that. And obviously all of this is easier said than done. I realize that. I realize that we can kind of understand a concept, but then actually doing it is another thing. But I think in terms of letting go of a weight problem, it's all just about us gradually changing things. So if we can just tone down the volume, or tone down the amount of time that we're investing in thinking about how bad our body is today, or what it will weigh tomorrow or next week. If we could just, even to begin with, become aware of when we're doing that, I suppose. Like, become aware of when you were doing that, when you were thinking about the past or the future in terms of your weight and your eating. Because the sad thing about thinking about the past or the future with our eating is it's just further neglect to our body in the here and now. So the reason our body cannot improve is generally because we're spending so much time in our head worrying or remembering or imagining bad negative outcomes with our eating and our weight, that we're not actually with our body. We're not actually listening to it. We're not actually helping it. So by helping it, I'd be like, hey body, do you need a cup of coffee? Do you want a pint of water? Will we go for a swim tonight? What kind of dinner would feel lovely in your belly this evening? What could taste 10 out of 10 delicious and make you feel really nice by the time you go to bed? Like, they are actions. So if I was to put it very simply, it's kind of like when we really want to start letting our body reach its potential, we start putting more value on actual actions rather than theory and thoughts. So by that I mean, like, even, we can talk about, I'll be on annual leave next week, so I hope to exercise every morning. That is not as beneficial as literally putting your coat on now and even walking to the bottom of the road and back, because the skill building is actually doing something. And theory isn't practice at all. Us thinking or planning what we'll do tomorrow or next week is in no way building skills, like, at all. And actually on that topic, in terms of exercise, for me, I learned, like, I had to do serious, like, bite-sized pieces of progress. Like, however bad you think you are with progress or eating or whatever, I really kind of think I was worse, honestly. So I had to make, seriously bite-sized progress for myself, because progress and mini victories, I suppose. So for me, and I still actually feel this, it doesn't matter whether I sit in a sauna for 5 minutes or whether I go for a walk for an hour and a half. To me, they're equivalent, because both are the action of, I'm going to do something now to help my body. I am going to down tools and just go. And down tools and just going and doing something to help your body is the part that a lot of people, they don't have that skill. They don't have that practice. So that's what we need to get good at. Not in theory, once things are quieter, once I've got more energy, I'll do X, Y, and Z. That we're actually putting our money where our mouth is now, and we're making some small gesture to our body to be nice to it. So I would also say that literally anything that could help your emotional well-being today, or how well your body physically feels, is you moving in the direction of your ideal weight. So, and like, that comes down to basically that if we're doing a lot of comfort eating, we're doing a lot of emotional eating or binge eating, there's no doubt about it, there's something missing. Like there's something majorly missing, and usually it's pleasure, stress relief, and fulfillment. So we're bridging that gap by in advance kind of thinking, okay, what could I do today that would make me feel better? Like what could I, not even today actually, what am I saying? What could I do now in the next hour? So by the time it's 4:00, I feel slightly better than I do now at 3:00. Like, is there anything I could do? So that is us taking the bull by the horns and actually supporting our body in the right here, right now. And that is the only thing that adds up to results. So like whenever you catch yourself going way off on a tangent of maybe if I gave up bread for 7 days, maybe if I did that 30-day, whatever, maybe if I did this, none of it actually matters. Because the only thing that is benefiting your body today is what you're actually doing to your body and mind today. How you're actually giving it an easier ride, or you're giving yourself a nicer day, which makes you less likely to end up on the couch looking for all your pleasure and comfort needs from just, I don't know, a bag of sunflower oil and salt, which is crisps, or, a chunk of vegetable oil and sugar, which is chocolate. So that leads me on to a TikTok video I just recorded actually about any of those nights where you overeat a lot. It's not that you're being too greedy. It's not that you've done too much. It's actually that you're not giving yourself enough, because that's not enough. Like if you've had a really hard day, if you're working very hard, if you've been mentally bullying yourself, if you've been telling yourself like awful things that you would never ever say to anyone else, like if you've been telling yourself your body is fat and gross and disgusting, or, you're not where you should be somewhere else. Like all those kind of chats we have with ourselves are always pretty draining and will always end up in comfort eating, So it's kind of like if we've had a hard day, we deserve more. We deserve to be properly taken care of. Like, if a little child came home from school crying, would you be like, just shut up and eat these 5 donuts? It's like, that's not a solution. Like, as in, there's around 10% of that's nice. Like maybe the first donut or the second donut is a novelty and a treat and kind of nice for her. But just stuffing her face and pretending that there's no emotions going on, pretending that she doesn't need any soothing. It's like, no, you would say soothing things to that child. You would say, look, darling, everything's okay. You put in a great day today. Everything's fine. We're going to have a lovely evening now. We're going to do nice things. We're going to maybe wrap up warm and get a nice hot water bottle and, watch something nice on telly. And, you'd say all soothing, nice things to that little girl. And it's that, are we doing the same for us? So it's mad, actually. It's mad how I think we're always going to be terrible at talking to ourselves. Basically, our own inner dialogue is always not going to be great, perhaps, or it takes quite a while to train it anyway. So sometimes that's why it's so much easier to say, like, okay, if I was treating a 5-year-old girl like this now, would I make her go to the gym? Would I say she can have an early night? Like, what is the kindest solution here? Would I make her eat that? Would I not allow her eat that? If I was being nice to a 5-year-old girl, what would be the answer here? Another one that really works as well is thinking, what would be my response to this if my friend who's her ideal weight told this story to me? So what I mean by that is, say, even for instance, I had a client there and, she had a rough old weekend. She read a work email that put her into a spiral. She got a caramel slice. She got another thing. She got another thing. And, I was like, if your friend who's a normal, healthy, happy weight told you that story, what would your response be? Because your response would kind of be like, so, yeah, that's understandable. So it's like, if that's your response to someone else about their eating, that's what your response needs to be with yourself as well. Because I know our mind will go off on a tangent and be like, no, I need to hold myself accountable. I need to give out to myself for all that I ate yesterday. I should actually track it all into my fitness pal and be honest about the calories and the fat and the sugar that was in that, because it's not right. It's not good enough. I need to call a spade, and it's kind of like then looking at it from the other side, that if your friend was like, oh, something really upset me and I got some chocolate and I had a bit of a wonky day of eating after that, you'd be like, yeah, those things happen. So what? So we have to give ourselves, I suppose, the same kindness that we give to others in terms of like, look, that sounds like an awful day, to be honest. So just let it go, make today nicer for yourself, mentally and physically and with food, let it go. So, wow, I fitted a lot of words there into that 16 minutes and 34 seconds. So I'm thinking now, this is maybe a bit random for a podcast, but like maybe it'd be really nice if we did a little bit of mindfulness. So maybe, okay, so it depends where you are and what you're doing. So if you're driving, perhaps don't close your eyes. In fact, definitely don't close your eyes, and you don't need to be too relaxed. You can just do your best to embody this as I'm saying this. And then if you are in a place where you can chill out, maybe sit back, recline, and close your eyes, that would be really great too. So let's just start with taking some really big, deep breaths in and out. So imagine every corner of your lungs being filled with new, fresh air now. And as you breathe out, you're just letting go of everything you no longer need. What stresses or reoccurring, annoying, hurtful thoughts have you been thinking today that have blocked you from feeling well? And just as you're breathing out, imagine letting go of them all. And as you breathe in, the biggest, deepest breath you can muster, imagine that is filling every cell of your body now with peace. Peace, peace, peace. And even if you want to make that your mantra now for a few seconds, just repeating to yourself, peace, peace, peace. And maybe as you're breathing in and breathing out, as you're breathing in and breathing out, maybe repeat the word health, health, health. And now let's have a go of saying, feeling well, feeling well, feeling well. And now repeat after me. I forgive myself completely. I forgive myself completely. I am willing to let it go. I forgive myself completely. I am willing to let go. I forgive myself completely. I am willing to move on to a new chapter. I intend to treat myself well. I intend to treat myself well. I intend to choose supportive thoughts. I intend on choosing supportive thoughts. Now, I am the expert in my own body. I am the expert in my own body. I am the only person on the planet who knows what could feel nice in my stomach right now and what would not. I am the only person on the planet who knows what would feel nice in my stomach right now and what would not. I am the only person on the planet who knows exactly what tastes nice to me and what does not taste nice to me. I am an expert in my own health. I know what can make me feel well today. Only I know exactly what can make me feel well today. I have all the tools I need to feel well today. I have all the tools I need to feel well today. Only I can know how I will feel well today. I have all the tools I need to feel well today. I am the expert in my own health. I intend on treating myself with kindness. I intend on treating myself with kindness. I intend on treating myself and my body with kindness. I am doing a great job. I am proud of all that I have done. I am proud about everything I have got through. I am proud about everything I have overcome. I have all the tools I need to feel well today. So take a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out again. getting back to the here and now. I hope that's recharged you. I hope that's given you some clarity, brought you back to the present moment, and brought you back to knowing your full ability to treat yourself well right now. So do you know what? I think I'm going to leave it at that. I did a lot of jabbering on there at the start, and I'd like to leave you in peace if that did relax you and work for you. And so I'll see you on the next episode, and sending tons of love. Speak to you soon. Mwah.